This is Conversations at thewholenote.com. I'm David Perlman, and I'm here with Jamie Parker,
Hi.
pianist, Professor Parker,
Mm-hmm.
member of the Gryphon Trio for 22 years.
22 now. That's right.
And with a concert coming up 26th of February at Music Toronto.
Music Toronto, it'll be 8 o'clock, and
Yep.
we'll be playing a trio by Haydn that we've never played before.
Right.
We'll be playing actually in Mexico next week, so that'll be nice.
Ah.
But a Haydn trio that's fairly new to us. A terrific piece that Dunuk Widgeratny wrote for us, and then Schubert B-flat major will be the second half. So.
Uh-huh.
And there'll also be a couple of pieces by some of the Earl Haig students. For about 14 years, we've run a program up there with Alan Torok and working with the young students there. They write little trios for us, and we always play a couple of them at our concerts here. So.
Right. And you go back a long, long way with Music Toronto, right?
A long time. I mean, really early on, Jennifer Taylor, kind of adopted us into a series and has been just a wonderful presenter to have, locally, and and also amazing what she's done with the organization. I mean, taking over with significant debt and just slowly chipping away at that, and really a remarkable responsibility that she's shown towards that organization and stewardship.
Yeah. We are your official media sponsors for
great.
your February 26th
Terrific.
concert,
Well, I hope you can come.
Yeah, I'll be there with a party of 10 or 12.
Excellent.
So
Great.
it will
Good.
be
We'll see you there, Dave.
Excellent. So Music Toronto, I remember you going back there for almost as long as we've been doing the magazine. It must be
Something like that. Yeah.
almost like
Yeah.
that. I know, Jennifer, you've been ensemble in residence there,
That's
and
right.
Along with the Larrys, right?
Yeah.
The St. Lawrence.
Yeah, and we go way back. I mean, I know with the St. Lawrence. In fact, I just heard them at Music Toronto not even 2 weeks ago, a weekend
Right.
or so ago, and I remember I had graduated from Juilliard. I was freelancing based in Toronto, and I was here when they just started up,
Right.
and so I remember their first concerts at St. Lawrence Hall. I mean, that would be over 25 years ago now.
Well,
And so we've known them for since we were students at Banff together in the summers, getting into trouble and enjoying music, and it's been great to know them all these years as well.
we put you on the cover of the WholeNote, July 1977, and
97.
did I say 77?
I think.
97. Opening line said, "So quixotic is the idea of even attempting to make a career of playing chamber music that in the presence of people daring to dream the dream, you can only cast skepticism to the wind."
Nice.
That was 18 years ago, and you've
Well,
been at
certainly,
it nonstop.
it's a challenge, and when we started up, we had. I think the two of them, Roman and Anneli, had always, they had studied with a pianist who was a student of Pressler at Indiana, so they had regular trio coachings. That was something that they wanted to continue doing professionally.
That was Trio Lyrica, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so when they got in touch with me, I guess about 22 years ago, we sort of got together and said, sure, we'll play a few concerts together, see how it goes,
Yeah.
and here we are, over 2 decades later, and we still have a terrific time traveling, touring. We had a great Europe tour back in November, December, and catching up with some friends, and getting our. In Belgium, getting our blood chocolate and blood
Blood beer,
beer
beer
levels
and blood
up to their appropriate levels,
Yeah.
and more. So
Jeunesse Musicale was a big factor in the early touring years, wasn't it?
it was, and in fact, being originally from Belgium, we did we toured. We hit, so many corners of Belgium, and of course, the mission, the unofficial mission, was to try every beer possible. So it was. Those were fantastic tours, I'll tell you. And we actually just saw our best friend there, Mathieu, and it's been terrific watching him as he went through school. He's now got his doctorate. He's got a lovely family, and he took us about 12 years ago. He took us to Maritsu, one of the abbeys where they brew beer, and this last trip he took us to West Vleteren, which is the Abbey of St. Sixtus, and it's probably along with Rochefort, I mean, one of the best beers in the world, and he actually drove us there, and we drank it there, and so I have a very fond thoughts of Belgium and Brussels and the things you can enjoy there.
I made up a whole bunch of little cards here for us to go through. Shameless plug for February 26th. We did that one. Music you actually like.
Music I like.
Especially, I remember you saying one time, do you listen to piano trio music in your spare time? And you say,
No, actually, one of the things that gives me great pleasure, I mean, with my wife, is teaching some Beatles songs to our kids. We've got 2 boys, 7 and 9, and to sort of see them able to identify and sing along some Beatles tunes and also some Beethoven symphonies. That makes me very proud as a parent. So, but it's true. I mean, I find actually I don't do much listening at all, because if I'm teaching 5-6 hours at U of T, and then I come home, spend a few hours with my family, and then once the boys go down after stories, I'll fire up the last quad espresso of the day, and I'll practice on and off till 2 or 3 in the morning. So I find in my spare time, the last thing I want to do is put music on. I enjoy the silence when I can get it. I mean, I love the music, obviously, that I'm involved with all during the day and night, but I don't do a lot of recreational listening, and I think that's something that at some point when I retire, I mean, I'll probably go to a lot more concerts, and I'll listen a lot more, because it'll be I'll miss that, But
I think you've reviewed some string quartets for our
here and there. That's
CD
right.
review section. So
that's
right. String quartets is one cut up from trios.
One more person complicated.
Commissioning. You guys have done a huge amount of that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, dozens and dozens of pieces, probably 80 or so all told. And this season we premiered Dinook's piece. This will be the Ontario premiere coming up. This year we're also we've got actually a couple of triple concertos coming up. We've got a brand new piece that Nicole Lizet is writing for us, and that will be with the Ensemble Contemporain de Montréal, and that will be in Montreal, and I think Toronto. I forget the exact dates, but coming up in I think April or April-May.
Does it have an electronic component?
I don't know everything that's going into it, but it will. I'm pretty sure it'll have some multimedia aspects to it. We're supposed to have had the score by now. I don't have any part yet, so I'm hoping to get something soon.
Right.
And we're also doing. We have a triple concerto that Jordan Powell wrote for us. Another terrific, the sort of next generation composers. Another doctoral grad from U of T. He wrote us a triple concerto that we premiered up in Thunder Bay, and we're going to be doing that with the National Arts Centre Orchestra in, I think that's May as well. So those are the 2 sort of big things coming up. There'll be a few other things. I think we're premiering piano quartet or quintet in Ottawa Chamber Fest. So there's a few other things sort of coming down the pipeline. Yeah.
Professor Parker. Yeah. Just
well, I mean that is my day job, but at some point, I haven't been on Facebook that long, but it was probably when I started, and that was it was actually when we had joined the St. Lawrence String Quartet at Stanford. They have their chamber music seminar.
Summer thing. Yeah,
it's wonderful. You work with up and coming young professional groups, and then a whole bunch of adult amateurs and people, and these brilliant Stanford alumni who. There's this one guy, Eric Cheng, and he's actually been on, Good Morning America. He works for DJI, they make the drones, and so he was just flying them through erupting volcanoes in Iceland last week, and so he's showing footage. But he's also one of the world's leading underwater scuba photographers. But he's a terrific amateur cellist, so he always shows up and just sort of pulls it out of the case, and he's still playing it, and we just have a terrific.
Toronto Summer Music is getting into that. Are you guys going to be involved in that this summer?
I'm not sure. The only problem, the dates are a little problematic because it does overlap with our Ottawa Chamberfest commitments, and then, but working with adult amateurs is something I've always loved doing, and so that's let's see, how do we? Oh yeah, so at some point there, I got on Facebook and I just sort of. Kind of let my inner idiot roam free, so I sort of sent him off into the world happily. So he comes up with all these sort of Parker's practice tips. So I think the latest one was it was the Pete Carroll method, where basically right at the very end of a piece, he just gives you these completely idiotic fingerings that make you completely choke and ruin everything.
Right.
And then I've also...
You got into trouble with one of those last summer with practice pianos. I think that was at
Festival up in Perry Sound.
Yeah.
Well, there was... I mean, Jim always says... Jim Campbell always says, I'm giving Perry Sound a bad name, But it was... I was practicing... The real piano in the church was being used for another rehearsal. So I just kind of wandered through the basement, and I found this spectacularly out-of-tune upright. I mean, it was... it was blood-curdling.
It was fun.
And so I made a couple of videos about my practicing there.
Top secret, the great mysterious May announcement that you can't talk about.
Well, it's funny, because I saw a couple of references to that, and I don't even know what that is. I mean, I might have missed a trio meeting, or maybe they're planning on giving me a car for my birthday, but
or a clock.
But but I'm not actually sure what that is.
All right. Well,
I mean, I think our website has. Is pretty open with what we've got coming up. So
let's let that one go. Fish or jump in Ottawa and beyond the summer.
That's Roman's artistic director of Ottawa Chamberfest, and that is what he does is over the course of the year spend his life on the phone organizing. I mean, there's over 100 events in 2 weeks. I mean, it is it is just a spectacular cornucopia of music and chamber music. And chamber fringe, sort of off the beat things at night. There are outdoor events. It really is something that you can go. You can get a day pass, you can get a 3-day pass, you can get a season pass. You can just see so much and listen to so much in the course of those 2 weeks.
And is the trio officially?
Yeah, so we're sort of again ensemble and residence sort of thing. Annalie and I are advisors. So we do some playing, throughout the festival.
Do you get to stretch from the basic 3 into playing with
Yes, we do.
Friends,
we do different things.
Combinations in that?
Actually, Annalie and I did Mendelssohn, a concerto for violin and piano and string orchestra, which we did with a Far Cry, which they were just up for a Grammy. They didn't win, but to be nominated for a Grammy was terrific for them.
Yeah.
So we get to sort of stretch out and work with other friends as well, which is a lot of fun too.
Yeah, a lot of fun for a lot of people in the summer that you get to try on new repertoire and different combinations. Yeah, life in the Parker piano playpen.
Well, it was.
You were the clan, right?
Yeah. So of course, older brother John Camara Parker. Fabulous concert pianist. Sister Liz, who was a real tour de force and piano in PR, and she's a great teacher. We have a cousin, Ian Parker, who's a concert pianist, and so. And then our mom's a retired piano teacher. So growing up, there were always at least 2 pianos going at the same time, and at my uncle's place there were sometimes 4 or 5 going at the same time. So I think what you grow up with is your normal. I mean, I do think there were times I missed out on. I'd be practicing in the summer and I'd hear kids outside the park, in the park playing ball and stuff, and I'd kind of think, this sucks, man. Practicing here, but
were you the baby of the?
I was the middle kid, and I think as a Gemini, that's kind of perfect. I've always been able to sort of see every side of every issue. But no, I think what you grew up with is your normal.
The normalcy of it.
There was, my dad. He was always listening to recordings, so there was always piano music going on. So that's what I grew up with.
The Larrys, we talked about them already. Hopeful, I don't know what that means. It was, we hear the doom and gloom about the music. Piano's dead and classical music's dead. And sitting where you are, I got 2. I got hopeful and I got hopeless.
Yeah. Well, look, that's. I mean, in the terms of things like being a little hopeless. For the younger generation that I work with and teach, University of Toronto and master classes all around North America and Europe, there's a lot of things that are in trouble. I mean, I remember, things like, the CBC Talent Festival, competition. Yeah. This is a really important venue for young musicians to sort of, capture the ear of the nation. And of course, CBC, back when they were, recording all sorts of concerts and doing these remote broadcasts, you would do a tour, you'd win the Ecker Grammatic competition, or do a debut Atlantic tour, or Prairie debut tour, or CBC talent festival, and one of the most important things, I mean, forget you win a bit of money. That's yes. Not the point. You would get exposure. You would get a broadcast, and in the early years of the Gryphon Trio, that's how we sort of maintained our contact with a lot of people who enjoyed listening to our music. Was there would be broadcasts of this concert, of that concert, as well as CDs, and now so much of that has just dried up with budget cut after budget cut, and it's so those kinds of opportunities are not there for the younger generation. I would say things are hopeful in that you've got the internet and YouTube and
take your destiny in your own
absolutely.
hands.
You just you just pull out your phone and you can record yourself. So there is that whole vista of possibility that I think younger students can tap into that we didn't have. I mean, I tell them, look. I learned how to type on my dad's old Underwood. I mean, I learned on a manual, typewriter, and they've never seen one. I mean, half of them haven't seen a record, So I think you have to be flexible and fluid as things change around you, and basically the people who adapt best are the ones that will continue to make a go of it.
Yeah. The competition. No, just to talk about piano trios. Interestingly, we've got Vienna Piano Trio coming to town to Moordale on the 8th of March.
We know those guys. We know those guys, and we compared hysterical Pressler stories. So
because they've also got the Indiana connection, right?
Yeah. So we it's fun because you don't often get we tried this once with them, but the idea of having a piece commissioned for two piano trios,
right?
Because when you get quartets together, you can get the Mendelssohn, right? And that's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't have one of those just dynamite pieces.
Right.
And I guess there's also Shostakovich and maybe a couple of other more modern works, but there's not a lot of rep when two trios get together. And then, of course, you have to decide: are pianists going to share one trio, or share one piano rather,
right.
or you're going to try to have two, and so. Right. But that's something that I think bears further investigation and further exploration, because I think that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, they're fun guys.
Music Toronto we talked about, and Friends. It's a bit of an extension of the whole. We're just touching on that. I mean, with the other big trio in town is obviously Amici, where because of the combination of instruments, almost by definition, every concert is reaching out to other musicians. There's not a lot of repertoire for clarinet, cello, and piano.
That's true.
But so this whole idea of, I remember when you did Constantinople was an interesting exercise in broadening the reach.
And it was a real, a massive multimedia work that Christos Hatsis wrote for us. So I mean, the three of us in the trio were amplified. There's sort of Western and Middle Eastern singers amplified. Patricia O'Callaghan and Miriam Hassan Taller, fantastic singers, and to work with them. And then there was surround sound, beautiful scrims, projected visuals, surround sound audio things, and all sorts of technology involved in it. And really, it's been a tremendous project over to work with.
Hans solo, solo piano. I mean, your life is so tied up in
it's
in
very
trio,
busy.
But do you?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a recital for the Women's Musical Club in Winnipeg. That will be, let's see, I think that's towards the end of March. I'm doing Schumann Concerto out in Victoria in April. Jackie and I are doing a two-piano concert in Carmel towards the end of April.
Oh,
so
nice.
that'll be a lot of fun. I'm meaning to call him and just
confirm.
Brother or Big Brother, yeah.
Big Brother,
been meaning to sort of confirm the exact rep, because that sort of floated around a couple of times. But so I try to,
It takes three to tango. And then the next one, Life Beyond the Gryphon Trio. But we've kind of talking about that. So with university and with some solo work, you guys are still pretty tight. It's still full, eh?
Oh yeah. No, it's
how far ahead are you booking?
I think generally in classical, it's usually, it's not as far ahead as big opera stuff, which is years ahead.
Yeah.
So it's probably, we've got things, we've got things for a year or two, and then a few things sort of penciled in and things like that, and so things sort of always coalesce a little bit closer to closer to the dates, but enough lead time for everybody to get their publicity materials out and for us to make sure we've got the scheduling in our calendars.
Happy anniversary! I thought it was your 20th. It's our 20th.
Yeah.
So
Happy anniversary!
I was going to say, thank you very much. But 22 years under the Gryphon.
And it's and what's really where I think we all feel very fortunate is that it's the same people. I mean, there are a lot of great ensembles that have been around, but very few that have been around as long as us with the same personnel, the same people.
That is extraordinary.
A lot of things have to kind of work in your favor.
High schools now, high schools then. Just the difference between music when you were in the Parker Playpen and music now.
I mean, when I think back to my high school, I mean, I have terrific memories because, for me, I mean, when you're a pianist, there's always, basically you just have to accept that you just have to shut up and practice. As a pianist, that's it. You just have to put in those hours. So I always enjoyed school because that's where my friends were. And it was neat, I'm 51. So last year, I was the last of my 4 high school buddies to turn 50. So we went for a dinner, and I posted a photo on Facebook, and I was going, like I've known Dan since grade 8, I know Ken since grade 6, and I've known Warren since grade 1. Yeah. And I just feel like I'm just, this is just a treasure in my life that these are guys that we go back that far. None of them are in music. Warren took lessons for a bit. Dan's kids have taken a few lessons, but it was just sort of our shared experience, And I'd come back from Juilliard, we'd still get together, and I come back now. They all live in the Vancouver area, and so anytime I'm back in Vancouver, I catch up with my music buddies from my UBC days, and catch up with my high school buddies, and so I think for me, what I enjoyed was I had a real continuity in my schooling. My elementary school was grade 1 to 7. And my high school was 8 to 12.
Okay,
so I was there 7 years. I was there 5 years, and then I went to UBC 4 years, and then Juilliard another 4 years.
I guess what I was wondering about as well was that you were growing up in a time where music was an integral and normal part of school. Not everybody was necessarily on a musical path, and if you were on a musical path, what you were getting in school wasn't what you were getting from your private teacher. But these days, it takes people like you to actually bring music into the schools as something from the outside. You were mentioning Hague.
Hague is a tremendous school on its own. But through our association, I think we've all benefited from this. And actually, one nice little anecdote there was there was a student, Laura Silberberg, who was one of the talented young students there, and she studied piano with me at U of T, and then she switched to composition. Oh, yeah. And she's finished off her degrees, and we played a short trio that she wrote for us on one of her doctoral graduation recitals. Oh, so nice. She's somebody who's gone from Hague all the way through.
That's amazing.
And got a doctorate, and she's published some choral music. So I mean, it's been sort of I think we've all sort of had some pride in seeing some of these students go through the university system and succeed and do well. So that's a real credit to the school and the teachers there, especially Alan, and groups like ours that go in. I know Amici's gone in, Esprit goes in. So there's a lot of people have started to go in. Actually, I'm going to be having a meeting at some point with Richard Marcella about Regent Park and seeing if there's any possible things we can do. Actually, I mean, if he sees this, I haven't even talked to him yet about it. He messaged me on Facebook. We were at a conference.
Richard, if you're out there.
So I'll be getting back in touch with him about that.
Tell me about Listen Up.
Oh yeah, Listen Up. Well, that's been a great fun project too. Basically, our trio, we've done quite a lot of projects with Rob Kaplow over the years. I don't know if you know him, but he's I mean, he actually studied composition with Nadia Boulanger, for God's sake. I mean, but he's he's a pianist, conductor, composer, but his amazing gift is his education and the way he can bring audiences into our world. And he's got the What Makes a Great series, where he and performers sort of kind of reverse engineer pieces on stage, and then you get a whole performance of the piece, and then a Q&A session.
TSO's given us his gift.
He was just here doing Beethoven 4 with many acts. But what we do is one of the things we thought about was that we're always happy to give master classes and do some outreach and concerts and so forth when we're touring, but it's sort of we get to sort of hang out with students for about an hour or 2 hours, and then we're gone and sort of disappear from their lives. So one of the things that we came up with, and Roman again put a lot of thought into this, was the idea of having a project that would sort of go through the whole year, the whole school year. And so what he does is he'll go into a small town or a city, try to meet with a few principals, because you need to have a school, and it works best with elementary schools, because if you have a principal on board, they can just say, just excuse all these students for this class, this project. And it's much harder at the high school level, when you've got all these different classes. So you need a principal on board, you need a music teacher on board, and then anything else is a bonus. So we've done this project in Elmont, we've done it out in BC. This year we're doing it in the Northwest Territories. So we've got Carmen Braden, who is a terrific young composer from Yellowknife, who we've already worked with and played works of, a couple of works. We premiered one last summer at Chamberfest. And Jeff Ryan. And so they're going through all these communities, and basically what they do is they get these kids to sort of write little snippets of melody. Right. Some of them will write poetry. Some of them will do some painting, decoration for the project. And then what happens is Jeff will kind of stitch together a work for piano trio and kids choir. So we'll be going up. We'll be going up with Rob Capello in May to Yellowknife, and a bunch of kids will be coming from a bunch of these different communities that actually we've been to. We did a tour of the Northwest Territories a few years back, and so they'll have a big kids choir. We've got a terrific lady up there, Susan, as a choir conductor, and we'll sort of put all this stuff together. We might throw in a little what makes it great. We'll throw in a few tangos or some Beethoven along with the program, and there'll be some poetry readings that the kids will do, and some of them have already made little video presentations of what they're doing up there. So it becomes this sort of real celebration of art, just giving as many kids any kind of window or door to kind of peek into the world of art and
understand how much of it is linking of
absolutely
elements that exist separately.
Absolutely,
it's the process of joining them that is the real composing.
And it becomes just this really fun weekend, and we put together a big finale concert.
I've run out of cards. Are
we okay on time?
What didn't we talk about so far?
Getting rid of the government. Oh, did I say that?
I think you did. Oh, how often do you change your message on your answering machine?
I think I got an old one. That one, I never checked that one. Yeah, I better change that one.
You should change that one at this point. We've got a new mayor.
Yeah, I think actually I got locked out of that one because I used that code in the last 2 years or something. Yeah.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, David. Yeah.
So February 26th, we'll see you.
We'll be fresh back from Mexico.
Mexico. What's the Mexico thing?
It's a festival that Chris Wilshire, a friend, runs in Ajijic. It's the Scotiabank Northern Lights Music Festival. So a bunch of us fly down, and I was there last year, and actually what was really fun was I had very dedicatedly packed a Crosby and Taves hockey jersey because it was during the Olympics I was there.
Right.
And so I stayed up and watched them win gold there. So that was awesome. But a big expat North American community down there. So I'd walk around town with the Canadian hockey jersey on. People sort of
They'd forgive you for being a pianist.
But no, it's this beautiful place very close to Guadalajara, and you play chamber music and hang out and try out a couple of tequilas.
Come back with a suntan, so we'll hate
something
you.
Something like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Lots of fun.
Thank you.
Talk to you again.
Good.
And thank you. Bye-bye.